Hello, dear friends. Shadow Control is on the air. Today, we are going to talk with Natalia Zakharova, a channeler, a conductor of information from higher powers. Natalia, hello.
Hello, Natalia. Hello, thank you very much for agreeing to take part in our project. Tell us, please, how did your path of magic begin, and how did you realize that you wanted to do exactly this? Well, the path probably, like many, began with childhood. I had little ability. Then I developed them, because it was very interesting to me, especially in adolescence. I've been doing all sorts of things. Mostly, it's probably more with the dark ones. With dark forces, I mean. And then, as usual, marriage, family, children, and that's when the health problems of the child, the eldest daughter, began. And official medicine could not help in any way. Naturally, I had to look for people with psychic abilities who could help me cure her. I found such people. They put her on her feet for a year, and then I couldn't help but do it. It was very interesting to me, and as a hobby, as entertainment, probably. That is, she came, worked on herself. That's how fashionable it is now, right? And then it turned out that I got sick. I was diagnosed with a benign tumor that began to grow at such a rapid pace. And she was an untidy one. Over time, naturally, this should have led to a bad outcome. And then I went to look for people who could help me. I found such a person, and it was I who came to esotericism to be cured, so that they would not help me to be cured. I got to such a person who will not wave a magic wand, will not do everything for me. He explained it all to me, told me everything, how it works, and I was working on myself, in terms of removing all the negativity, changing it completely to a positive attitude to life. Basically, it was a problem in the relationship with her husband. How often probably it occurs now. Disrespect for everything masculine in general, rejection of it. Yes, that I am a woman. I know how best. And that's all in this spirit. But I had to completely reshape myself, completely reshape my thinking. And at some point, I noticed that I was hearing. I don't hear myself. There was also such a severe crisis in our family, when there was very little money, and as if I had been cut off in spending. Although I didn't deny myself anything before. And it so happened that I was sitting at home with the children. I didn't go anywhere, and it's hard on maternity leave. I started talking to myself. In other words, you ask, honestly answer the question why it hurt you. For example, here's what he told you there. Or some kind of mom. Yes, they are already in a row. That is, you start working on yourself. Worked. That's all in this spirit. And at some point I heard that. Yes, someone else's voice. Absolutely not mine. It was a completely different energy, vibration. Very different. Naturally, I immediately ran to double-check who I was talking to. It turned out, yes, that due to the fact that I worked on myself for a long time, I chose everything bad, everything negative. The vibrations increased. I automatically got in touch with my guardian angel. Since then, as it were. Well, each person has several of them there. Some people have 18. Here I have only 3 masters. They are called mentors. Every person has his own guardian angel, who is always with you for 24 hours at 7, and puts you to sleep, as they say. When we sleep, just here he builds it up, this dream, and you wake up, all the time with him, and that's how I would become constantly. At first, I only talked to him all the time. That is, and then I learned how to postpone, yes, to block this channel, in order to communicate simply with people. And then I began to try. It became interesting. I began to try to summon other consciousnesses. They didn't get in touch. I can hear them. And how does this transfer of information happen? Here you are talking. You hear a voice. It's male, female, or some kind of specific here. How? It's male. It's a man's voice for me. It is possible with a request. That is, each person can get in touch with his guardian angel. At first, of course, a request is needed. You need to fly a certain level, And then over time, well, I really asked my guardian angel not to do all this, not to fly out, not to make any connections. I asked him to hear it in general like this here, well, as he talked to you. And I did it. That is, in principle, once I turn, and he immediately talks to me. That's it.
And how do you manage to establish this connection in general? In other words, this is some kind of channel you activate, and how in general information comes to you from the guardian angel. These are pictures, these are sounds, these are voices. How is the information itself transmitted to you?
It's always different. Depends. If I am requested by myself, then everything is very simple there. They just take it, joke mostly, because we haven't met such a close person on earth yet. And if he can be called a person who fully understands you, fully understands your jokes, he answers himself. And that's how such communication would be light. If another person comes, it's completely different there. That is, I have to get up, ask for permission.
Climb for a while.
On some level, exactly on the level of his angel.
Imagination.
Or is it a dimension? It's a way out. It's not imagination. This is the exit of intentions to a certain level where the guardian angel is located. You fly out there with your consciousness. That is, the body stays here, closes its eyes. Someone closes it. Someone does not. I close my eyes so that nothing interferes with me. You are at a certain level, and you summon him. Love first. Love necessarily. That is to say hello. It somehow goes without saying. Respect is mandatory. Here, then, I ask to connect. When I connect with my guardian angel, that is, he seems to enter. Here I am entering his space. He is the entrance to mine. My power increases. My strength increases. I hear better, clearer, and I can convey information more. And then I say, here comes a man so-and-so, so-and-so. He has a question. Please, can we give him the information? Will you give him the information? Yes, of course. A person asks us a question out loud. Me, well, you hear there, information is transmitted right there. I convey, well, in words. If it happens with pictures, it happens with sensations, it happens, well, not with sounds, everything is clear there. It happens here on vibrations, right? You feel what they want to tell you. And there is no ranting, of course. It's all very, well, dry, quick. There are 1 or 2 sentences, but in principle the picture is already clear to me. I can pass it on right away, and I'm going down. If a person does not understand, I explain it more precisely. That's it, that's it. But what did you have there? Why did it lead to this? That is, the person opens up, I rise again. That is, this kind of work is going on just so that my task is to make a person understand what they want from him. Yes, because sometimes a person gets into such difficult situations, well, straight dead ends, and he no longer knows where to go. Why? That's why it's all the same to him. Trouble, trouble, trouble. Here he can't, as if the same money is looted. And I explain to him, and you take the focus of vision, attention, transfer it to another. Look from this point of view, and it helps people. Indeed, they see help. They look at this situation from the other side, find a way out, and they do not have hopeless situations, as they say. And can a person independently establish a connection with his angel? This must be done. Earlier, as I understood it, I was told that there were exactly these prayers. This is exactly the first connection with your guardian angel. This is the simplest thing a person can do. When a person does not just read prayers, but attunes to the Almighty, attunes to his guardian angel, he approaches him, and naturally, this connection is established. The more often you apply, the stronger you see this connection. Not everyone, of course, can hear. That is, it happens, but they can feel, they can see signs. You can negotiate with a guardian angel. Here I know people who can't hear for many years. I say, well, you agree with signs or ask through dreams. And in principle, this information is given to them. Yes, yes. Here I have requested there, for example, the number of the car there is 666. I will have such and such a bad lesson, so that I am ready for this conflict situation. And she, the person, is kind of ready for this. Or, for example, through dreams. Through dreams you ask. Through dreams you can go straight through some lessons. I do not know at all whether it is possible to say it or not. For example.
You can, yes.
For example, one of the problems I have in this life is the acceptance of masculinity and that kind of jealousy. Jealousy, great jealousy. I've been working on this for a very long time. And then I was just flooded. You can say with us that my husband is constantly cheating on me. My husband is cheating on me. And it was also real. I woke up in tears. And then one night, the second, the third, the fourth, I prayed straight afterwards. Well, what do you want to say? I don't understand. And you, he says, don't understand one thing. You're constantly trying to control a person. And the man came for his lessons. Relax. In other words, there is no need to focus on this. It will be. Let him answer to the Almighty for his act. Here. And when I realized this, that is, I settled down, accepted it, the concept came, that's it, the dreams have stopped. I was told, yes, you passed. I say, why with us? And you say you want to. Well, they say, do you want to in reality? I say, no, thank you, better through dreams. That is, in this way through dreams. Then it is necessary, when you address somewhere in space, to say who exactly you are addressing. Because there are a lot of different forces in space. These are dark, gray, and even light. That is, any consciousness has flown by, and it will begin to fulfill your desire. And then it turns out not very good. That is, you will have to pay off your debts. There's nothing so simple as always, if you were given a favor, how would you sign the contract? And how can a person even distinguish with which essence of your contact? White, gray, dark. You know, it's very difficult. It's really difficult, because everyone is dark, gray. They hide under the face of light consciousnesses. What should alert? What should alert? All your wishes are fulfilled. Right now we have fashion marathons, money or something else, yes, that's all. Well, I don't even know. He says, here's a date. Let's say yes. There is also a direct consciousness on consciousness, dark on dark. That is, they are sitting, feeding on this energy, your energy. Therefore, we must be wary. And I would advise you to still look for people who could double-check, because it is very difficult for the esoteric to look at himself. It's like this, well, like this. In some conflict situations or something else, you need to turn as if to someone else who could double-check. Because, well, they cloud your consciousness, and you can't figure out what's what. Naturally, now that I have a connection with the light consciousness, I turn only through it. If I allow, as it were, contracts between a person and a dark one, I also work through my light consciousness, so that God forbid not to sit on this vibration, on the dark one, not to lower my vibration. Just like that.
Natalia, you could generally reveal in more detail what dark entities, light entities are. What is it? What kind of power is this?
We have always been dark and light. Without the dark ones, we wouldn't have seen that light. It's the light, and as if in a person should understand both his dark side and the light side. In other words, these are the same consciousnesses, with the same power as the light consciousness. They just have a different focus. And this is it. Well, look, there are janitors in our world, but there are directors, right? That's how we should respect the janitors who sweep up the garbage, and not only pay attention to the directors. Therefore, also with respect. They just have their own structure. They feed on certain vibrations, which, of course, if they get hooked on a person, they even try to provoke him specifically in order to provoke the release of these negative emotions. Greed, frailty, something else, some kind of temper, and the like. Therefore, the less you have of this, then naturally you can hear the light ones better, faster. What else is the difference between dark and light? There you go. There are not always dark figures on the subtle plane. That is, it is impossible to ignore them immediately. If someone sees a dark plan, they just get up like this, covered with this black blanket, and everything is already there. And if you go deeper, I had an experience when, well, in general, from karmic past lives, I was engaged in the dark, and apparently not a single life, because in this life, they just came for a debt. There's no other way to say it. It was terrible. And there I've already seen everything they look like, been in their space. They just pull you down into their space, and you can't get out of there. There was such a thing that they were forced to sign the contract again, and my relatives pretended to be my husband and the like, and I already have a red rag right away. It's a pen and a piece of paper. If it gives, that's it. It's a contract. In no case, never a tick. You cannot put anything in a dream or in some altered state. I have mostly in my sleep, because I also used development techniques in adolescence. Well, these are different here. There are techniques for how to go to another in a dream there or something else. That's all I've been doing, and that's why it's easiest for me to bring it to some level, even from my dream, as if like this. But I think it's still more developments from the past. This is from my past incarnations, as it were. You said about the contract, right? In other words, it turns out that in a dream you see exactly a sheet of paper, a pen, that is, exactly this image is like this. Yes. What's going on? Yes. And they say, here, sign it, put it here, and you'll have it all here. And your husband will earn good money there, and you will have everything. Straight promise. You want this, you want this. Well, not in different ways. It's already direct. It's straight. It happens surreptitiously. Here it is necessary to put a signature. There is a sick leave or something else. It happens like this fraudulently, but somehow it's necessary to put it to yourself, that as soon as you see a pen and paper, nothing is signed in any case, because the difference is with the light ones. You can always talk to the light ones. Independence, no contracts are needed. You just turn to Him. The Almighty always hears you. We are like children to Him, the closest, the dearest, the most beloved. And He is always waiting for us to turn to Him ourselves. And the dark ones you see, they always have some kind of background. Here we will do this for you in this life. Then in the next life you will give us, for example, energy. Or you will work there, well, roughly speaking. In other words, this is all heaven hell, it's all real. And this Gogol's V is really these shambashes. I wasn't there, unfortunately. There is nothing pleasant there. It's very scary. The soul shrinks to a lump and does not know where to ask for help. They ask the Almighty, but there is a completely different space, and it's impossible to get out of there. And they attack you in the form of animals and bite you straight. But when they bite there, it turns out they energetically feed on your energy. And in principle, if it is not restored in real life, then you can lose an arm, a leg, an eye, or something else. In other words, there may even be such problems to such an extent. Here, what helped me. Also from past lives. I've worked a lot with spaces. Yes, I can go to any space. Into any space, for example, of an organ on the physical plane. That is, you calmly go in, of course. Everything is neat there. Love is love. You don't touch anything. Here or any other. What a pleasing space. I probably created a space there. I can't get out of this feeling, intending your space once. And firm, there I have already found a way out, as if I didn't come out like this in this way. It's creepy. I won't wish it on anyone. It's terrible. In the early days it was generally. I didn't understand what was happening to me. I didn't know who to go to. I just cried and couldn't help but sleep. I felt nothing when I opened my eyes after the third child. Here I felt them everywhere. You go into the store, they just fly, and you feel them vibrationally, and they're right there. They're just touching you. There's nothing good about it. So I had to turn to a strong esotericist who would clean me, remove me from a new space, and, of course, work on yourself.
Natalia, as a simple person who does not engage in esotericism or any practices, should be able to defend himself from such entities, and so that in general they do not molest him.
If you are a religious person, then, of course, religion will definitely help you, yes. In other words, it is a prayer. It is asking your guardian angel to protect you. If you feel the strength to study, then go find a teacher. There is no need without a teacher. There is no self-study according to books. There are a lot of different schools now. Go and learn. The most common thing is to put protection on yourself, as if to establish a connection with your guardian angel. And always, in some such cases, when you feel, always repeat, I am with God, and only with Him. That helps. That's just the way it is on a simple level.
That is, some kind of struggle with them is pointless.
No, You can't. There is no need to enter into any struggle. All of this can lead to a disastrous outcome. It's only on yourself, on the Almighty to hope and ask a person who can help you. Initially, how does a person attract the dark ones into his life? With what? Negative, an ordinary negative. It seems to have flared up, but in fact the essence has already felt the force, the release of this negative energy. It immediately approaches, begins to feed on it. They are trying energy, vibrations. The more hot-tempered you are, the more touchy you are, there or something else, that is, there are different entities to you, of course. They differ by type there. Greed comes, that's one thing, absolutely there. I do not know, even this fear, completely different. That's why they say you can't be afraid. Here, and the more you are in the negative, the more such friends around you you can say, in quotes. Naturally, they are not only in your space, they begin to feed and enter into the physical body, they can live in any organ. And then you start to feel that I have something chronically, yes, everything starts to hurt there, the spine or something else, the head or something else. He sits, in fact, and eats slowly. There's no other way to say it.
But a logical conclusion suggests itself. If you are in love, enjoy.
Yes.
Probably, these are just the same entities and can't send.
No, yes. That is, when you are in love and joy, naturally, you have light vibrations, you can communicate with anyone, well, as if to hear, see, feel, and light. They certainly don't come down here into our earthly space. They descend, but rarely.
Is that what you mean about the light ones?
Yes. They come down, but rarely straight, because it's hard for them in these vibrations that we have here. And the dark ones feel very comfortable here. Therefore, there are, of course, more dark ones here than light ones.
Natalia, you also mentioned contracts. After all, an ordinary person cannot always identify a dream, do not understand that he is making some signatures. But at the same time, there are a lot of people. That is, how is this interaction? How can he sign a contract? And what are the consequences for him?
And look, if it's fashionable now, yes, marathons of desire and the like. Again, I repeat once again, that when you express your desire, your intention into space, and this needs to be done. But you need to call the one you want to address, just like that. I want this. You have already signed, well, a contract. You can even say that. That is, the essence will come immediately. Okay, yes, of course.
That is, she helps him to embody.
And embodies these desires. Yes, I just had it like that. Any of my wishes were fulfilled. Everything I wanted in it. We had everything. We lived very, very well. As soon as I started cleaning it all, of course, everything went away. And what does a person pay for the fulfillment of desires? After all, he may not suspect anything. He believes that he has everything, all earthly goods. And what is the result? In this life, maybe nothing will happen. It is likely that in the next life, for example, it will be like this, or here they come, as they came for me and as if they would eat. That is, there is energy, which will also affect the physical body over time. Here, they need energy. They themselves cannot produce this energy, but a person can produce it. He can produce both positive and negative energy, yes, depending on his emotions. Naturally, they feed on negativity. They will even provoke you to get upset or shout, swear, and the like, so that you have more energy and eat more. That's it. Here is such a moment. During the day, a person can remain in a calm, good condition, but at night he has a nightmare. That's how children and adults have it. Is this also a manifestation of the dark ones? Of course, we need to look, yes, if there are dreams that are with dark, nightmarish ones. They are completely different from simple nightmares when you just run there psychologically. Yes, you experience the situation that you had during the day. This is completely different. And if you feel that there really is something, and the children are just beginning to be afraid, they are even afraid to fall asleep, then this is definitely the essence. In nightmares, I had nightmares very often, and even then to the extent that they were already approaching my space. I already felt that they were nearby. I had to clean, that is, to such an extent on them. Well, I tuned into them, as it were, in other vibrations than they are. And children, yes, that is, if you feel that the child is crying, screaming at night, afraid, then it must be shown to the esoteric. There is basically work for 5 minutes, no more, that's it, and sleep will be restored. and such a phenomenon as panic attacks. Panic attacks. I do not undertake to speak 100%, but in most cases panic attacks are when the soul begins to be terribly afraid of the presence of some dark consciousness. She feels that it is for him and the people, that it threatens him, and this panic attack starts here. That is, had it like this. I suffered for a very long time, for many years. I could not understand what was the matter. I came to a stronger esoteric, and there are literally 2 minutes, and that's it. And they never came back to me again. That is, panic attacks can also be the reason that the soul feels a dark consciousness. But how does this cleaning happen? These 5 minutes, 2 minutes there. The master does something that turns it all into this.
Can you reveal the methodology itself?
And I can tell you. But don't you think that people will start doing this and can mess up later, if on their own? That's the thing, especially teenage children. I'm going to tell you now, as if nothing like that, because I myself was in such a situation. I read everything in a row, and made everything out of these books. Something made a reservation, and called, and did some magic circles and conspiracies and the like. I had to do a lot of slacking here. So, how does the cleaning happen? Naturally, everything is through the Almighty. First you call on the Almighty, fly out to a certain level of your guardian angel, flood everything with light, and then you say, this person is a phantom. You call upon this phantom of this person, and say, those who are like the people here will manifest themselves. Yes, dark ones. They manifest. You pour light on cleaning. You ask the Almighty in a certain way. Many leave. Only contract employees remain. There you go. Or the fact that a person still has to realize something, but did not realize it. That is, there is no consciousness, there is no understanding, so the darkness cannot go away. And they're already through the guardian angel. It is necessary, yes, what needs to be done to make the dark one go away. And the guardian angel tells you this, that, can you fill it with light, or agree? Or is there already in fact what is being said? High consciousness, bright high consciousness. In principle, many people leave, but in any case, those do not leave if a person does not have an understanding at a certain level. For example, at the level of society, let's say, yes, here's a person even more, but as it were, he has not even entered society yet, has not fully spoken, has not opened up, somehow did not worry, did not go through conflict situations with this, well, in communicating with people, then naturally, consciousness is still standing for the time being. That's it. But probably it was in the past. It came here from the past. Here it is, waiting for how a person will behave. If a person shows negativity in communication with people, then naturally, it will feed on them. If, as it were, a person understands, yes, that we are all people, we all walk under God, love and accept everyone, then consciousness can eventually go away by itself. But in past lives you have been in contact with the dark ones. How did you even know it was from past lives? How did you learn about your past lives? How does this happen? But, of course, first I went to other strong esotericists, psychics, who revealed to me. In other words, it helped me a lot to find out the cause of my illness. She was in a previous life. If you're interested, I can sort of tell you a little bit. It turned out that in one of my past lives, a long time ago, I was married to a rich man, lived in a castle here, and over time, he began to pay attention to young girls. I was very scared, went, as it is, to the witch, there is still a witch, and asked her to do 2 things. The first one, stay beautiful, and secondly, so that the husband does not look at other girls, at other women. It was necessary to work on yourself. The situation was to look into yourself. Why is my husband looking for love from other women, but they don't come to me? But I didn't. As a result, I was beautiful for a very long time. I died beautiful. My husband was with me, but the payment was made such that then I'll be ugly, and this benign tumor here, it disfigured me, it was on my face, it was growing. I'm not getting there, well, in general, up to large sizes. And moreover, I was even told that it's just, well, here are the leftovers. In a previous life, everything was completely bad, and bad, very bad. Here, and I've been working on myself right now with my husband. In other words, this knowledge of what happened then helped me to accept myself, to understand the causes of my illness. Because doctors, no one can tell me that. To work in this direction, to accept any independence. And it's beautiful, ugly, and it is natural to work on yourself, so that my husband turns to me, so that he receives love from me. And then, over time, I asked to be opened to me. What is it called? Well, so that I could request myself and watch the karmic lives of other people. It was revealed to me, not to say that I'm not going to lie right now, right? I can't say that I see everything right away, because I am a very emotional person. And when I enter another person's past life, I begin to live it as my own. There are vibrations there. You start to feel like this person is offended, crying, or something else. And this naturally affects my physical and my vibrational fields. That's why they let me go there very carefully. They always say, watch like a movie, don't react, don't react. But in principle, it turns out that I can see what happened, in what incarnations, why a person has such a reason. For example, he gets sick and can't understand why he can't recover, and so on. It helps a lot.
In the form of certain pictures.
Yes, it's not even a picture, it's a feeling. It happens that you just enter into a situation and see and understand who is who, yes, and who is who, and, for example, you clearly see the conflict. Yes, here I had a girl who could not establish a relationship with her mother in any way, and I went in and looked. It seemed the opposite. That is, she was a mom, and her daughter. Oh, and her mom was a daughter, and she didn't accept her daughter. She treated her very harshly. She didn't open up to her as a mom, didn't love her. And in this case, in this life, everything is already happening the other way around. Mom can't accept her daughter in any way. In other words, everything is karmically, you see, it's all karmically interconnected. When I explained this to a person, when I asked to open up, when I said, you need to turn to the Almighty and ask for forgiveness. It's not about making a person change, but to say, here's a tick for yourself. I won't do this anymore. I will treat it differently. This helps a lot. It's the intention that everything, yes, I realized it's impossible, it's necessary in a different way, and that's when connections are being established, messages are being restored, as it were, and such acute situations pass.
You mentioned the experience of workers already visible in your practice, right?
Yes, it was a working practice.
Could you tell us directly about your professional activity, what kind of request people come with, and how your interactions with them are going?
The questions are all very different. Mostly, of course, women come, and they mostly have a problem with relationships, with acceptance, and in the family, and even a child. It happens that you can't accept a child, understand what's the matter, why there is such a confrontation, mostly on relationships. But there are business, career, destination, there are questions, there are health. But for health reasons, I'm really not going to lie. That is, I say, yes, I'll tell you, but the doctors must, right? In other words, I do not take on such responsibility. We definitely go and get checked out and treated here, but in principle it helps. The fact that I look down the spine of many people already, yes, that's exactly what it is. When they cleaned up these problems, not believing, let's say, yes, not believing in themselves, some kind of stiffness. For example, a person seems to be living a different life. Do you understand? Or did I have such an experience from the past? That why is there no money for a person now? It turned out that in the past, let's say in Moscow, I forgot that money is evil. It's from Satan there or something else. In other words, this is reflected in this case as well. And it's not just that a person has no money, he also has problems with his spine, as here is the main such structure. And here, well, as it were, there are a lot of questions about the purpose, of course, which are not always answered by the light forces, because the concept is a little different. We assume a destiny for ourselves, that you find some kind of path, yes, here's some kind of job, you start working on it. Immediately you have success, money, fame there, yes, everything is so lined up that we have established relations, everything is fine. You are right on the horse, but it's not like that, it's completely different. The purpose is when the soul comes here. It lines up there just for her, these guardian angels, her masters, mentors are given here. She says, I want to learn in this life, well, let's say, not to be jealous by myself. By myself, right. Let's say, to establish relations in the family, here, and let's say there's something else. Well, here are some. And these are the tasks she has to solve. And all conflict situations, all problems will be precisely on solving these tasks. If a person does not understand, they give him a disease or something else. That is, if he does not go further. If a person refuses at all, he says, I don't want to decide anything. I just want to come here to have fun, to live a pleasure there, all that. Yes, he will be given a certain period, but it is quite possible that if he continues to refuse further, he will simply be taken away from here. That's something like that. Where will they take you? Upstairs, another incarnation. He will come to another incarnation.
Natalia, but how does your interaction with a client who came with a question happen in general?
A person comes, talks about his problem, tells what happened to him, that he sees it. Yes, that is necessarily this one. I need a story so that I can enter, as it were, into the world of this person, feel this person.
And how does it happen? Through some intention or what?
It happens to me easily. I once and yes, immediately connect. I don't know, maybe these are developments. I probably think so. Here, and then I call my guardian angel again, as I say, yes, please help, and I arrange a connection there, and the person says his questions and gets his answers. Then I come back for sure, and we sort it out. If something is not clear, request again. Well, somewhere around an hour, probably half an hour is enough for a person to understand the situation and how to find solutions. Are there situations when you refuse people? Yes, there was such a thing. That is, either the guardian angel did not allow me. There was something that knocked out the connection, that is, everything when I was tired. But I always ask my guardian angel before the session, and if something goes wrong, please, you protect me, you cover me. And so it turns out. There was such a thing that the connection disappeared immediately. If we had a consultation online, that's when I had an overload, yes. And so it was that, yes, I can't help anything. Let him go to such and such a person. Or do you know how? A person came, asks for help, and even his guardian angel. In other words, I'm not only talking to my guardian angel, I'm calling his guardian angel. And his guardian angel says, and she doesn't want to be helped. She can't hear us anyway. There's nothing you can do about it. That's how it would be like this too. It happens sad. Natalia, does fate exist? The karmic path? Yes, there is, of course, necessarily. There are some starting points that a person must go through. It's just according to the purpose that he has to go through. But a person can always change his fate. He can even postpone this karma for the next incarnation. In other words, everything depends only on him and on his choice. Right consciousnesses, they do not interfere in this case. They say, well, more yours. As they say, yes, your choice. That is, a person wanted to, he went to talk with the dark ones and worked there. I didn't want to go somewhere else there. I left. That is, he went straight from his karmic path. Rarely, in principle, they say rarely, the soul comes here and goes purposefully on its way. It's starting anyway. The soul, she is so light. She also wants pleasure, desire, pleasure. She starts. I want to try this. I want to try this, and in principle, please. In other words, you can do anything. Therefore, the karmic path, and here is the future. It is not predetermined. It all depends on the person himself.
We touched upon the topic of the dark ones, yes, but I would also like to talk about another country. About interaction with light entities, with light forces. Could you reveal this topic in more detail for our viewers?
There are also very many bright consciousnesses. They are clusters of light energy, of great power. There are different, of course, also according to the type of light consciousness, and mentors, and guardian angels, and masters. There are saints. In other words, this is all not a myth. That is, you can refer to them. They come and really help people. You just have to ask from the bottom of your soul, from your heart. They always turn, because they seem to be in our dimension, in the form of a person. Unusually many. You can't list them all. This is a call. Yes, This name is a call from the bottom of my heart. Please come, please help. I ask you very, very much. It helps even at such a simple level. These are all the prayers. It is not necessary to pray according to the canon. It is not necessary to go to church or to a mosque. This can be done even at home. You can unknowingly include an icon there or some kind, right? That is, you pray, you ask, and this connection is restored there. That is, we all have power. Each person has power, and light comes to this power, vibration. If you're asking for help or anything else to tell, you can just chat. You can tell how the day went. They love it very much. It so happened that I rose very high and just thanked for my life, that everything is so good for me. Everything turns out right from there. Yes, we tried so hard. Do you like it? I say, yes, I like it. Oh, this, he says, is so good, because everyone comes only with their illnesses, with their requests. And you, he says, came. We were just pleased. I say, yes, thank you very much. That is, there is no need to be afraid to just communicate. And this is just a simple free communication. And they build communication channels with any bright consciousnesses, too. And how do you feel this connection? The establishment of this contact, if you take the body, to which part is it more attached? That's how. Probably more than the fourth chakra. Yes, that is, you feel it. Everyone has their own. Someone feels right with the body. Someone has a very big, chic body experience. That is, they are right according to the sensations of the body. Someone with the intention of going well straight out. Someone is about to feel this heart, warmth, kindness, love, love. It's just these light vibrations. These pure ones. These are the vibrations of the light ones. And how do you feel after interacting with guardian angels, after these sessions with your clients? It is indescribable, because you are breathing these vibrations right now. Your physical body and your vibration are changing. You slow down, you clearly and subtly feel everything, the whole structure, even the structure of the air. When I was a student, I somehow went to a certain space where the souls did not leave. They were stuck between worlds. I started talking to them. They tell me, here you are all striving for paradise. You don't understand that paradise is on earth, in the hands of so. You understand, he says. You have a physical body. You can feel, touch, hear, breathe, love, and to love everyone in different ways. A husband like that, a mother like that, a child in a different way. These are all shades of feelings, emotions that you can express. So make a paradise there at home. Create it. Why are you all in a hurry and want to go somewhere? In other words, this is something that should be appreciated. It is necessary to appreciate consciously living right every minute of your existence. It's like a gift. It's a gift that we can live here like this. We build the life we build for ourselves. If you are in the negative, this is your life. If you are in a positive mood, then everything really works out in a completely better way.
And Natalia, here probably, our viewers will be interested in the topic of not departed souls. Or maybe restless souls, can it be called? Could you open it more widely?
I don't have such a strong big practice in this matter. It doesn't feel me. There was such a case recently, just like that. I see with my peripheral vision, well, both dark and other entities, that is exactly dark light. Then I can see with the fourth chakra, yes, with my heart. And the dark sides seem to be moving. It's just that if you feel something, it just might be that this is something you see something. Here came the restless soul of a child, a girl, stood for a long time, was constantly present. I go to my guardian angel. What is it? Why, they said, she was killed. And at the moment of the murder, a portal from the Almighty opens, into which the soul enters the light portal, and, as it were, pulls it up there with a vacuum cleaner. She was scared. She didn't know what had happened. She was looking for her mother. She lingered near the body, cried, did not understand that she wanted to return, and therefore this portal disappeared without her, and she stood there, couldn't find peace in any way, where to go, and already she didn't have the strength to get up like that. She came to me because she heard that I could help her in some way. Naturally, yes, that is, She called the Almighty, called the light, directed it at this soul, and it flew up through the light. That's how it would be. In other words, these practitioners do, esotericists do, because there are a lot of restless ones too, right? Here they are being raised. Well, how would that be? Well, wonderful, yes. Now I will say that souls find their repentance of the Almighty, and then they can incarnate further in the next life. Natalia, today visiting different places of power is becoming very popular. Please tell us what it is and where does the power come from in certain places. All places of power. They are also different in type, in energy, what is present there on the subtle plane, what kind of structure. In other words, it is necessary to come to the place and see what exactly is specific. My guardian angel helps me with this. My consciousnesses, my mentors, I come to the place. I ask what there is here that I can work with, and they tell me specifically. There are different places of power. For example, here they are the dreams of the garden. There is a divine structure in the form of a lattice right on these beds. It changes the physical body exactly in the right direction, makes all the cells work, it cleanses a person, all his spaces. That is why people are tumbling there, sort of rolling around, so that, well, we work in a different way. We raise this lattice, pass it through the whole body and lower it. So, you see, each place has its own methodology. There are, for example, you come where there are various monasteries. There is definitely, for example, the master of this monastery. For example, if we take, on a subtle plane, yes, the Raevsky-Bogoroditsky monastery, then there stands both the master and the Georgian Virgin, Georgian Mother of God. Right, girls, women are converted. It helps with the birth of a child, pregnancy, recovery after the pregnant period. It's more in female power, but in this, in female qualities. And the master of this Bogoroditsky monastery, he is such a right man, how can I say yes? He has everything so correctly built. He's family-oriented too, right? But he has just that there is a husband, that there is a wife, who should touch how? That is, when you tell him your problem and ask him to help, he gives lessons as it were. In other words, there will be situations just aimed at making you understand where you are wrong, where you communicate incorrectly with your husband, or accept any of his qualities. That is, this is what this work is about. Yes, on yourself. You definitely give this master here, tell him about your problem, what you would like. And the master is good. I will give you some specific lessons, some specific conflict situations, going through which you will understand how to go further. Let's say this is a place of power, and it happens that we also went to the holy spring. We arrived at this place. I am requested. They say to me, no, there is just a spring here, just a spring, just a sacred minister came, illuminated it, but this vibration, it eventually went away. In other words, there is nothing so divine here. It happens like this. That is, each place. It is, well, individually it is necessary to approach it and see what is there, how to work with it. Something like that.
Natalia, and the presence of a guardian angel, is it somehow constant? Does it feel like some kind of temporary phenomenon?
When and how? Sometimes they come down here. Very, very rarely. But they come down. Sometimes you build a connection with him yourself. Yes, you are in touch, and you constantly feel. You talk to him. Sometimes you block it yourself. You say, I'm on my own. Or they leave themselves. They say. And then we'll see how you will react and live. In other words, it depends on the masters, well, on the guardian angel, and on yourself. But when you are in these bright vibrations, and when you live exactly in a completely different way, the feeling of trust in the world, the feeling that you are always being watched, you will always be supported, everyone is watching, then this does not stop. That is, you are always under care, under guardianship.
Is a guardian angel a being of higher dimensions, or where can he be located at all?
The guardian angel is consciousness. That depends on what you mean by measurements. Do you understand? A subtle plan, guardian angel, this is the consciousness of a subtle plane that can move as you need, both down and up, to help you in some techniques. But to say that it is of a certain dimension, it depends on what is meant by measurement then. As they say, if we reveal the subtle plan of this room now, there are also a lot of different spaces, and different creatures here. Therefore, you can, well, probably, you can also say that measurements, yes. Natalia, do you use your abilities for personal purposes? So much for the good. Yes, only in relation to myself, in relation to my husband. For example, how he treats me, I try not to use. It's not tactful. It's ugly. I tried it once, but I didn't do it again. I didn't get anything good from there. Here, because somehow everything has to remain a secret after all. Yes, you can get inside yourself like this. A man, he also came to work out his lessons, to live out his fate. You have no right to get into his head even. That's tact, probably. The feeling is so and so. Natalia, thank you very much for an interesting conversation. Thank you for coming to us. What would you wish our viewers? Dear viewers, remember that you always have a choice. Always and in everything. Listen to yourself. Listen to your heart. It will not deceive you in any way.
Thank you very much. Thank you, dear friends, for being with us.
Thank you very much. It was very nice to meet you, and thank you for inviting me to this meeting. I am very grateful to you. Thank you.
Hello? Shadow control is on the air. Every person in his life repeatedly encounters magic and what is inexplicable. And when faced with this, he often forgets, although the consequence remains. And the question is, what is magic? False or true? Magic exists, and it is real. If magic was a fantasy or a deception, it wouldn't have existed for so many thousands of years. And throughout all this time, it has seduced and seduces the masses of people to this day. Magic is the oldest and most numerous religion. The religion of Satan, whose adherents are even atheists. That is why all the prophets at all times said about the inadmissibility of practicing magic, that magic does not lead to hell. And yet, some religions, originally built on the true teachings introduced by the prophets, today openly engage in magic, conduct various magical rituals, offerings, sacrifices. But the prophets didn't do that. And, moreover, they bequeathed not to do it. All these actions are imposed by the devil. Just like begging. Allegedly, God has material goods and health. But the prophets said, it is not worth asking God for anything, except for the salvation of the soul. It turns out that those who had to fight and resist magic openly serve Satan. Why is she so attractive? When people, knowing about the ruinousness, and nevertheless, exchange forever for momentary, ghostly material. Yes, the invisible world exists, and it is diverse, like the ocean is full of unknown life. And together with you, friends, we would like to understand a little bit about what magic really is, why it is so tempting, and how the invisible world really works.